welcome to LexTalk World Talk Show presented by Clickaway Creators. Today we have Mr. Yasir Masood with us. He's a trademark lawyer in UAE currently, and he's active in this field of IP since I believe 2016. And after completing his law studies in Germany in 2013 and gaining initial experience in law firms in Germany and England, Yasser joined one of the Dubai's office of Dennemeyer. I hope that's how you pronounce it in 2016.
Dennemeyer.
All right, so Dennemeyer. He's part of the trademark and legal department at Dennemeyer, and his area of expertise are pretty much in terms of spectrum. He covers corporate law, trademarks, copyrights, prosecution enforcement, IP portfolio management, and so on and so forth. We have a lot of things to discuss about Mr. Masood. So I'll pass the baton to him. But before that, let's welcome him. So welcome, Mr. Masood, on Let's Talk World Talk Show, and thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Pleasure's all ours, sir. All right. So as you see that I tried to level just cover things about you in bits and pieces. But it would be great if we can start with some questions.
Yes.
I'll talk about your journey so far. But before that, a very niche or very common question that I always have for the lawyers: how would you rate the current legal system drive towards encouraging access to justice? I mean, because every individual like me, we see justice from a 10,000 feet, but you are right there working right there. So is there a tangible movement in closing the justice gap? What's your take on this?
Yes. Thank you very much. From our side, because we are very specifically handling only IP matters here and in general, so I can answer the question from this perspective. And in general, in the UAE, there have been some court proceedings now introduced in the English language and not just in Arabic. So as such, this is welcome because, as you might know, the vast majority of people here are not Arab-speaking individuals. So this might make it easier just to be able to even follow the court proceedings, and this increases, of course, access to justice. Then also from our perspective, court fees here are comparatively reasonable as compared to, let's in general, more expensive countries. And talking specifically from the trademark perspective, for me as a trademark lawyer, there has been recently a new trademark law introduced. And one of the examples there, one of the changes is that the grievance committee, where you can file appeals against trademark office decisions, the setup has been changed a little bit. So there's now a judge plus 2 IP experts on this panel, on this committee. And this increases the competency of the trademark grievance committee. And also, the other thing is that their decisions can now be appealed directly to the Court of Appeals, as compared to in the past where you would have to file an appeal to the Court of First Instance. So also one instance was removed, making the process faster and in general then more efficient and just also less costly and easier for the people. Also in the new trademark law, preliminary measures have been introduced and can also be obtained ex parte. So in urgent matters, people also have more access now to quickly get their rights secured.
Talking about technology, I mean, you also talked about incorporation of technology in that space. So in the era of legal technology, what are the tools that individuals like you use commonly?
Yeah, this is specific. I mean, this is one of the fields really where Dennemeyer is very active, that we mainly use our own tools. We have our own software. And the main example is our IP management software, Dimes IQ. So this in there, this is not just for managing our files. In general, we manage our files in there, and all of our digital files, everything is uploaded there. Our deadlines are followed there. But also we can in there see the workflow between the offices. And one thing we do is that we also give access to clients and select agents to this system. Makes the process easier. It's saving emails, because instead of sending emails back and forth with the documents, we will just upload it there and the clients and agents can directly access our platform. It's estimated that this will save 75% of emails in the future. And also
that's beautiful. That's like Google Drive, basically.
Yeah, this is
but for your clients and you guys.
A shared platform. And so some of the clients, they've already given up their internal docketing system and are only accessing the data used by us or hosted by us. And this is in general an interesting development. The people who work in IP, they will know that at the moment we have a system really of triple docketing. So the local agent will docket the same data as we as Dennemeyer do and as the client does. So we and the local agent, we still have to host this data for legal reasons, but for the clients, this is really not necessary. So it saves them time and it saves them just efforts. And another example that we are quite proud of at Dennemeyer is our patent search and monitoring tool, Optimine. As you know, nowadays there's so much legal tech, automated contract drafting, contract review. So Optimine, it's a patent search and monitoring tool. It uses AI and machine learning. So don't ask me about the technical details, but
Of course.
this is what it does. And in general, it's beneficial for the experts and for the non-experts. So for the expert, it gives a second opinion. The expert will do their own search, but still it gives a second opinion. It finds what people don't find, and it's faster and more accurate. And just as an example, one of the most reputed European patent offices is already using Optimine. And for non-experts, innovators, and inventors such as startups or people who work in R&D, it really makes patent searches even possible. Yeah, so you don't have to enter the patent jargon, the specific terminology, but you can search in your own words and you can see if your invention is actually new and fulfills the novelty requirement. So this is really AI making life easier for tomorrow. These are the main tools of legal technology that we use in our daily work.
Oh, beautiful, beautiful. I mean, that's so easy to understand as well. I mean, I can relate it with the common tools that we use, but it's all in perspective of the lawyers. You also, I mean, when we talk about these tools, we also understand that it's it's just directly or indirectly related to saving the time, which is
Exactly.
now the money. So as
Exactly.
I said, the time is money in any profession, and in legal, it's most of all. How do you ensure to make the best of your time as a lawyer, apart from using these tools?
Yeah, as we said, so really our patent manager, our IP management software really saves us a lot of time, slimming down paperwork in general, automating the reports. So for the same things we have to usually report, like this is routine work. So there are already templates in the system and we rely on templates and FAQs. And there's automated reports for clients already in the software. So this saves us time. We don't have to do this, the kind of routine work again and again. So this is automated. Then in general, I think as lawyers, it's important to be responsive to satisfy clients' needs. So if the client asks a question, if you have good and efficient and comprehensive communication, you should anticipate the client's questions. And this will also avoid emails. Yeah? And it's also frustrating for the client if they have to ask you again and again, what exactly. So you should be comprehensive from the get-go with your communication and anticipate the client's questions. This reduces time and also frustration for the clients. And
That's right.
another thing is, as you mentioned, time is money. So the thing that should get you the money, which is invoicing, shouldn't cost you money. So you should make easy the invoicing process. We try to do this. We offer monthly invoicing instead of case by case, so that we make one accumulated invoice per month, for example, or flat fee concepts. Yeah, so that there's a flat fee for a certain service, and this saves time in invoicing and makes this procedure easier. So these are some of the examples that I could mention where we can, try to save some time in our daily work.
Beautiful, beautiful. All right, Mr. Masood, before I proceed further, because now we are sort of proceeding further with some client-specific questions. So I have something to ask you in that angle. But before that, for our viewers, I also want to understand how was the journey of being a lawyer, working in Germany and then in England and finally in Dubai. I mean, how's the journey been so far for you?
I mean, in general, I think I completed my degree in 2013. Then I worked more in general law. We really did everything, like all aspects of German law, really, from immigration to employment to even criminal law. So really everything on a daily basis. Then I had the opportunity to come here to the UAE. This was always of interest to me, and also to a very reputed firm, and IP was also it was attractive for me, and up to now I didn't regret it.
No, I mean, as a firm specialized in IP, intellectual property, what is your advice for your client, if I may ask that, seek to protect their IP particularly in the UAE, if you talk about?
Yes. So when you start to make the plan to or you want to protect your IP in the UAE, at first, before filing, it's important to conduct trademark and patent searches. Yeah, so if you see something is already, you can then rule out that something's already on record. So this will save you time and hassle and costs later on in the form of oppositions or office actions. And if you detect something that's already similar to your trademark that you intend to file, you can already make a strategy, maybe find an agreement with the other party. Or if you see someone is then using your trademark actually without right, then you can take your actions then and there. Market surveys is something that should only be done really if there is an anticipated conflict. So we don't do this as a routine thing. And then it's important really to register your IP as soon as possible, especially for trademarks. We don't have a use proof requirement in the UAE as compared to, for example, the US, where you can file it based on use. So this makes it easier to immediately file. And also, if you use without registration or without filing the trademark, this doesn't provide you a strong basis for protection yet. So there's the so-called first to file principle that is actually followed here in our region. So it's really important really to file the application as soon as possible. Also, one advice would be to, if you have a trademark in Latin characters, to also file it together with the Arabic version, because I don't know, you might know that there's always a possibility of a slightly different transliteration from English to Arabic, for example.
That's right.
So if someone comes with a slightly similar transliteration and registers that, then it's best for you to avoid that from the beginning, to also register the Arabic version along with the Latin version. And as I mentioned, there's a new trademark law, there's also a new patent law. And this new patent law, it allows a 1-year grace period after publication. So normally the publishing your invention might destroy the novelty requirement. Now they give a grace period in the UAE of 1 year.
Okay.
But we should keep in mind that this is limited to the UAE. So applicants should still continue to secure their inventions through the national or the Patent Cooperation Treaty PCT route before going public. And something very specific to our region, because as you might know, the companies often work with local distributors, local agents, local partners. So it's important to have agreements in place to clear on the IP. Yeah, so it's important to register your IP in your name and not give that away to the local agent. And if there are any changes in name or address, then please always make sure to register this or record this with the trademark office.
Beautiful. That's the way you put things in perspective for me. It's like that. If I want to do it in UAE, I can do it straight away. I mean, the way I understood it. I had this last question. Where I wanted to understand, what happened, after once the IP is registered in the UAE, and what your clients keep in mind in regards to the enforcement of their IP rights. You have given parts of this answer. Answer to this question. But I want you to cover if there is something left. Again, I'll repeat myself again. What should clients keep in mind in regards to the enforcement of their IP rights in UAE?
Yes, great. So once the trademark is registered, it's very important then to keep proof of using the trademark, because once it's registered and you don't use it for consecutive 5 years, someone else could come with a cancellation action. So it's important to keep proof of use. So in such a case, you can prove, no, I have been using my trademark. And yeah, coming back to the use through third parties, this should be in clear written contracts. According to the new trademark law, these licenses don't have to be recorded with the trademark office anymore, but a written contract is still necessary. So this should always be kept in mind. And all changes in ownership, all the other changes except for licensing, should be recorded with the trademark office. And this is change in name or assignment of the trademark or change of your address. So this should always be up to date, so that there are no delays in enforcement actions due to this. And also it's important to have non-disclosure agreements, the NDAs, with existing and prospective business partners in place. This is especially so for patents, because as I mentioned, the publication of the invention could destroy the novelty requirement, and then you can't even obtain a a patent. So it's important to have NDAs in place. And for trademarks, again, there should be a watch service in place so that you monitor the new applications. If anyone files similar trademarks to yours, that you can immediately react. And last but not least, to have an effective anti-counterfeiting strategy in place. Especially, you might know, in the UAE, we have a lot of imports coming in. We have one of the biggest ports in the world. So also with that counterfeits are coming in. So we should have an effective anti-counterfeiting strategy. You can record your registered trademarks here with most of the customs authorities of five of the 7 Emirates. They offer this. So the customs will monitor the incoming shipments for counterfeits. And also, for example, with the Dubai Department of Economic Development, you can also record your registered trademark. It's very easy, even it can be done through an app, and it's very effective. The authorities, they will monitor the market for any fake goods. And yeah, once anything is detected, then it's important to always react swiftly, not to acquiesce to the infringement.
And I mean, the practices and the enforcement differs whether we are talking about the trademark or the copyrights.
Exactly. Yes. There's certain procedures in place that this goes into more details, but yeah, in general, yes, there's different procedures.
Yeah. I mean, from a 10,000 feet, that's how it looks like. All right, Mr. Masood. So far, it has been a great knowledgeful session. I mean, I'll be honest with you. Whenever we talk to a lawyer, we come up with some bizarre terminologies. But in this conversation, it was all so friendly that even if a layman is watching this session right now, uh, he is more convinced of what we guys are discussing right now. So that's really beautiful, and I love the way you described and put things in perspective. At
Great. Thank you
last,
so much.
oh, pleasure's all ours. I mean, I'm so happy that I happened to be available to be a host for this session. Mr. Masood, last question that I have is, where can the clients or where can the people find you if they want to find you?
So our physical office, we're located in Business Bay, Dubai. And online, we have www.dennemeyer.com. All the offices are listed there. People can filter by the offices, who is sitting in which office. We have over 20 offices worldwide, really covering all the main jurisdictions, all the main economies in the world. And my personal email address, if anyone wants to reach out, is ymasood@dennemeyer-law.com.
All right, and then you can also reach Mr. Masood on LinkedIn. You can bombard him with some questions.
Yes,
and
please go ahead.
Of course, potential clients can always find him, send him a connection request, and he's always right. He's a very helping hand to everyone, provided that you're talking about business. So that's a quote that I have. But all right, thank you very much, Mr. Masood, for joining us for this session and throwing such great light on the topic that we discussed about copyrights and trademarks, especially in UAE.
Thank you so much. I hope I could provide some insights and some.
Oh, I mean, you did.
Something.
I mean, you did. I mean, I don't want to procrastinate myself again and again by saying this, but you genuinely did that.
Thank you so much.
So thank you very much for joining us, and we of course look forward to having you in other great sessions to have discussions regarding the international legal industry of with reference to what's going on around the globe. And for our viewers, if you like this chat with Yasir Masood, I want you to like this video, share this video, click on that red button and subscribe to Click Away Creators YouTube channel to appreciate what we do. And you have more coming in from industry leaders like Mr. Masood. This was Sagar for LexTalk World, signing off.